It's a tough one. We live in the city and there are always dead rats in the alley. I might swap for that. That's how much I hate laundry.
Are you the rat collector?
I'm not the rat collector now, but I might actually become the rat collector if I didn't have to do laundry again.
Hi, and welcome to 5 Random Questions, the show where every question is an adventure. I'm your host, Danny Brown, and each week I'll be asking my guests 5 questions created by a random question generator. The guest has no idea what the questions are, and neither do I, which means this could go either way. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this week's episode. Today's guest is Gini Dietrich, the founder, CEO, and author of Spin Sucks, host of the Spin Sucks podcast, and author of the Spin Sucks book. She's the creator of the PESO Model and has crafted a certification for it in partnership with Syracuse University. Gini has run and grown an agency for the past 15 years and is the co-author of Marketing in the Round, as well as co-host of the Inside PR podcast and co-host of the Agency Leadership podcast. So, Gini, welcome to 5 Random Questions.
I'm so excited for this. Yay. I know I'm a little scared too, but
we'll be good. We're very gentle here at 5 Random Questions. And I don't know why I said we. I'm not the queen. I couldn't be the queen. She's dead.
You could be.
And going by that intro, obviously you've got quite a lot of stuff going on. But you're also a mom. You're also married to someone who's heavily into politics. I can imagine that's pretty busy at the moment. What with school holidays for your daughter and the political scene for your husband.
Let's just say that when Biden decided not to run again, the world erupted, as you know, and his world exploded. He runs a super PAC and they raise money. That's how they grow. And they had, I think that first week, they had probably their best week in history, which has been almost 10 years. So it's been a little crazy. Yeah.
I can imagine. And I went to the we again there for some reason. I don't like to talk politics on this show. But as an outsider, I'm in Canada from the UK originally, and we've seen elections recently in the UK. We've got an election coming up in Canada next year. Yep. But obviously the US election impacts a lot of people because of the country that it is.
Sure.
And a lot of people are saying, as you mentioned, there was a lot of questions around Biden and his capability of running against Trump in the election in November. But it seems rejuvenated with the Harris and Walz ticket. And a lot of people were saying, from a Democrat point of view anyway, which is where your husband is on,
right.
It seems a lot of feeling around the 2008 election when Obama was running. Are you seeing that? Is he speaking about that at all? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I read an article that said, if you've already decided who to vote for, don't pay attention to all of the noise because it's stressful and it's chaos. And I mean, as we know, Trump likes to create drama and create chaos. And it feels like you wake up every day on a cliffhanger and you're like, okay, what's going to happen today? And so I've been joking with him that I'm not participating in politics until November 5th because I'm like, la 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 la. Every day he comes home and he's like, did you see? And I'm like, I'm not participating in politics. Yes, it does. It does feel like it's been rejuvenated. And I think the biggest thing that we've seen is the younger generation, the 18 to probably 30-year-olds who are the 18-year-olds are voting for the first time. They did not want to vote for Biden. They didn't want to vote for Trump. So they weren't going to vote. And now I think they've sort of what do I want to call it? Pushed that or helped raise that awareness among that younger generation to get them excited to vote, which is what we need.
And speaking of younger generation, obviously you've got your 11-year-old daughter. How's school holidays been going? Because I know they can be, I've got 2 kids, 14 and 12. I know that can be quite a challenging time.
I don't know what you're talking about. And the funny thing is that I'm sure it's the same in Canada, but here in the US, nobody starts school at the same time. And so some people are going back to school right now, and we don't go back to school until September. So there's most of the month of August, there aren't any camps or anything. So June and July are pretty well taken care of, but August is like a free-for-all. So she's spending some time on the lakefront biking and kayaking and swimming, and she comes home exhausted and full of sand every day, which is great. I think she went to bed at 7:30 last night. Fantastic. Wow. Yeah. So you're just kind of piece things together.
I need to get some tips from you because I wish, like Salem's really good. Our daughter, she's really good at being outside, and well, Eunice as well, but she's really good at doing trampoline and going to the lake and such like. So yeah, I might have to hit you up for some tips there too, because we've still got another about a month still of kids at home.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Trying to keep them occupied.
Yeah,
it's fun,
and not on their screen.
Speaking of keeping occupied, it's time to keep you occupied with 5 random questions. So I'm just going to bring up my random question generator so you can see that, and we'll jump in. So we're ready for this, Ginny?
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Question number 1. Do you dance crazy when no one is looking?
Yes, and I also dance crazy when people are looking. So one of my favorite things to do, I live in Chicago, and my neighbor's house is literally 6 feet away, maybe 5 feet away. Like I can see in her window right now. And one of my favorite things to do is pick up the dog and dance with the dog past all the windows so that she can see me. So yes, I do dance crazy. Do you? You have to answer that.
I don't dance at all. I have no coordination.
Well, then you don't have to have coordination to dance crazy.
Well, that is true. But even when no one's looking, even if I'm at home on my own and like my wife's got the kids at a sports event or something, I'm just a lazy person. I don't like physical or a lot of physical energy, so my physical energy is switching channels on the TV with the remote.
With a remote.
So what kind of music do you have? Do you have music on in the background, or are you just doing it on your own?
The aforementioned 11-year-old always has Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift, Doja Cat, that kind of stuff on. So I've been Post Malone. I've been dancing to that because she has it playing, and then I dance.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned obviously Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo and Post Malone, and I love Taylor Swift. I haven't really listened to a lot of Olivia Rodrigo. I've listened to like 2 or 3 of her songs, and they don't, not always anyway, they don't like spring me as being songs to dance to often because they're not, like a lot of them aren't super up-tempo, or maybe I've just listened to the wrong songs.
She has a couple. I would generally agree with you, yes, but also the dance crazy part is you can dance to almost anything, especially when you're holding the dog and you're like swinging back and forth with the dog. You can make it work.
Well, that is true. That is true. And if you had to pick just one song then to dance crazy to, what would it be and why that one?
Dang. I don't know.
Would it be an up-tempo one?
Yeah, it would be up-tempo. It'd probably be... Actually, you know what song I really, really like is the Ed Sheeran, what's the name of it? Where it's the ode to his grandparents, and it's very Scottish. What is it called?
I'll look that up and I'll drop that in the show notes so you can check it out on whatever you listen on, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, whatever, but I'll check that out. So Ed Sheeran, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
I would have thought, because you were dancing with the dogs, I would have thought like the Venga Boys, who let the dogs out and then open the window and just chuck the dog out.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Don't come back to me if you see a dog running down Chicago streets.
Right.
That was not my idea.
She would not run down. She'd come right back. She doesn't like to be away from me.
Awesome. So there you go. If you want to get Ginny dancing, it doesn't matter what kind of music it is, and it doesn't matter if you're watching or not, she's going to dance. Let's have a look at question number 2. Okay, so this could go back a little bit in time because obviously you're a supremely happily married woman and have been for a while.
You can still look at people.
Oh, okay then. Question number 2. When you meet someone you're attracted to, what do you first notice about them?
Well, it depends on if you're watching the Olympic swimmers or not.
Okay.
If you are, it's their abs for sure.
Or the Olympic pole vaulters.
That's literally one of the funniest things I've ever seen, ever. And the internet is made for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Made for it. What is the first thing I notice? Honestly and truly, it's probably been way too long for me to even say to answer this question.
Do you think it'd be like a physical attribute?
Yeah, it'd probably be like smile, like the way that they engage, smiling or looking at eye contact or something like that, I would imagine.
So let's take us back then. When you first met Kelly, your good husband, how did that go? What was the attraction? Let me rephrase that. Why are you attracted to Kelly? Sorry, Kelly, that's not what I mean. What was the first thing you noticed about them?
Well, I was drunk, so it's a hard question to answer, but we were in a dance club of all places, going back to our first question. And my friends were all dancing, and I was just sort of standing there, and I saw him just sort of standing there while his friends were dancing. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we were like, do you want to do this? And so we did. So it was more that. And then it was, after we started dating, it was very much his personality. And I remember we were at dinner one time, and this has always stuck with me. Every time somebody came to the table, the server, the busboy, whoever it happened to be, somebody to fill the water, he always looked them in the eye and said, thank you. And I remember how impressed I was by that. And it's something that we instill in our little one too, is like, always make eye contact, always say thank you, always, treat people the same as you. But he just does that innately. And I was always really impressed with that.
No, that's a great point. I feel you can always tell what someone's like when they do something like that, or if they're out grocery shopping and they always take the cart back, whether someone's there to see if they take it back or not.
Yep.
Even like we used to see our kids would ask, well, why did you take the cart back? Because, nobody else was. And it was, like you say, it's just a lesson, because it's nice to be nice to someone else whose job that is and who doesn't have to trek all around the car park to get someone, So is that something that, because obviously you've been married a while now, so that's when you were first attracted to them. Is that something that still attracts you now, or what's the secret, I guess, to keeping the attraction alive, if you like?
Yeah, I'm definitely still attracted to that. He's also one of the kindest people on earth. I think if he weren't as kind as he is, we probably wouldn't still be married, because I'm kind of not. I'm also really hot-headed. But he knows how to, and this probably is why he's in politics, but he knows how to diffuse a situation really quickly and like make everybody feel good about the situation. And I actually was thinking about this the other day, because he's a really good people leader. And one of the things that he does extraordinarily well is, he's growing a business. And as you know, when you're growing a business, there are people who come in at certain points of the business who are great for a couple of years, but then the business outgrows them and they don't grow as quickly as the business does. And he's phenomenal at helping people realize that they're not going to continue to grow with the business, and helping them exit the business without them realizing that that's what's happening. Like he makes them feel so good about it, and he helps them find their next job. And he is really supportive about it. And it's really kind of cool to watch, because I, on the other hand, I'm like, you're fired, get out. And I don't care if I ever hear from you again.
And do you find that, I know like Jackson and I laughed, there was one example where Salem, we were in the car and Salem had said, there was a question, we were asking some like this basically, we're just like, Salem had a trivia book or something. So she was asking questions on a car ride. And one of the questions was, who's the strictest parent? And she immediately went to Jacqueline, and that caused all sorts of chaos. Like Jacqueline was not impressed with that at all. And I'm wondering, do you think it's like these kind of vibes where...
I believe that, though. I believe that.
Well, I'm not going to let Jacqueline listen to this episode. She will be after you with pitchforks and flames. It's just funny how, like you mentioned, obviously, you're trying to instill that kindness into your daughter, and maybe less of your hot-headedness, but keep a healthy dose of that, because that's always a good trait to have. There are times when you need it. So yeah, it's interesting how kids pick up on different vibes, etc., and how the traits come across to kids.
But it's funny you say that, because Kelly is definitely the strict one, the disciplinarian. I am not at all. Like, he calls me a rock of jello. At work, I'm great. Home, nope.
Not so much.
No.
So there you go. If you want to get into these good books, have good abs and be kind, which seems a realistic option to go for.
It's realistic. You can do that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to question number 3. Okay, question 3, Ginny. What chore do you absolute hate doing?
Laundry.
Laundry.
Hate laundry.
Have you always hated it, or is that since becoming a mum?
No, I've always hated it.
Okay, because I would have thought being a mum, I mean, because we've got 2 kids, so we've got twice as much laundry for youngsters. Sure. And Ewan especially, he seems to grow laundry. And
Right.
like his basket, like we'll take the laundry upstairs, let's pull it from the dryer or off the line if it's like a nice summer day. We'll put it in his room, and within a day it's full again. And we're thinking, what the heck?
What the heck?
So I get you with the laundry. Now, so what is about laundry that you hate? It's just the process, the after folding, whatever.
I think it's because there are so many steps. You have to wash it, then you have to dry it, then you have to fold it, and then you have to put it away. And it never seems like it's finished. Like, at least with other things, you have at least a day before it's finished, before you feel like it's not finished, dishes, whatever. But with laundry, there's always laundry. And I have found that, I have a preteen who will try something on and then throw it into our laundry basket. And it's not dirty. But I don't know that. So I'm washing twice as many clothes just because she's too lazy to hang them back up. Like, I hate it. I'm waiting for a robot I need artificial intelligence to do it for me.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Like, everybody's talking about AI for creativity, right? So, hey, create the next masterpiece from an art point of view, or create the next, storybook, audio, video, whatever you want. But where's the AI that makes our lives easier, that does the laundry for us,
Thank you.
That answers robocalls for us from
Thank you.
People collecting for super PACs and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Exactly.
So if you could, I mean, do you swap chores at home with Callie? Does he do the laundry or is...
No.
Nope. So this is why obviously it's not up on your list of favourites.
I don't love it. Nope.
So if there's a chore that you could swap it out with so let's say you're doing multiple chores because as a working mom, I'd imagine you do multiple chores and multiple stuff at home. What chore would you happily swap out that you don't already like as well? So you've got laundry, but what other chore would you say, okay, if I had to take that all the time over never doing laundry again, which would it be?
It's a tough one. We live in the city and there are always dead rats in the alley. I might swap for that. That's how much I hate laundry.
Are you the rat collector?
I'm not the rat collector now, but I might actually become the rat collector if I didn't have to do laundry again.
Wow, that's how much you hate laundry.
That's how much I hate laundry.
I couldn't. I'm not squeamish. I don't mind animals, and I was going to call it a bug, but it's not a bug. It's a rodent. That'd be a big bug. But yeah, I wouldn't like to be the rat collector. I remember a big rainstorm last year, and we had a wheelbarrow outside in the backyard, and that filled with water. And I went out the day after the storm to empty it, and there was 2 dead rats.
Oh no, they had drowned.
They had drowned, unfortunately. Yeah. Now I didn't have to collect them. I just tipped the wheelbarrow over and let them, float away, which was nice. But I couldn't be out in the streets doing that. And a quick lesson I learned is always put a branch into your wheelbarrow in case an animal gets in there.
Oh, I wouldn't know that either. That's interesting because then they can climb on it and get out.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know that till last year, and poor rats, they didn't know either, or they probably did, and were wondering where's the branch, dude?
Where's my branch? What kind of asshole are you?
So we're going to pass on the laundry and switch that over to rat collecting.
Maybe.
And I guess if the PR stuff, stops working out for you, there's always like a fallback.
Fair.
Take your daughter out. You could be like a mother and daughter team. Dietrich destroys, something like that.
I love it. I'll give you royalties on the name.
Hey there, Danny here. This podcast will forever be free to listen to. But if you enjoy 5 Random Questions and get value from the show and want to support it, you can either do that with a donation of your choosing or as a monthly supporter with a 5 Random Questions membership. Choose your preference over at 5randomquestions.com/support. And now, back to this week's episode. All right, we moving swiftly on from talking about rats, which may send some people off scampering away. Let's have a look at question number 4. Oh, this is a great one. Question 4, Ginny. You're in the circus. Would you rather be the person with their head inside the lion's mouth or get shot out of the cannon?
Oh, get shot out of the cannon for sure.
So you don't worry about being shot super far and there being no net at the end?
Well, of course, but I think the risk on that is less than a lion deciding he's mad and he chomps your head off.
What if the lion was like a super old lion that you had to prop his head open and the teeth were all prosthetic teeth or false teeth because all his natural teeth were falling out. Is it still...
I think he still would have enough jaw strength to take your head off. I mean, didn't that happen to what were the performers in Vegas?
Oh, in Vegas?
Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried and Roy, yeah.
That happened to one of them. Although I think it was a tiger.
Did he die because of that, or was he attacked? I can't recall.
He was attacked. He didn't die because of that, but I think he did die a couple of years ago.
So there you go. I mean, someone's been attacked by a lion. He lived, so...
But how many people do you know that have been shot out of a cannon that have died?
I don't know anybody that's been shot out of a cannon, to be honest.
Okay, that's fair.
That's not something, like, I know we've got weird stuff in Scotland where I'm originally from, but it's not a pastime. I remember getting into trouble once for a mutual friend of ours at the time for discussing some stuff that happened at circuses. So I try not to stay away from that topic. Do you get circuses in Chicago? Like, did they come to town? Yeah, you take the family along?
I don't think Addie's ever been to one. I don't think she has.
So that's something to look forward to then. You'll have to take her to the next one and say, okay, I'm going to prove to you why it's better to get shot out of this cannon than put your head in that lion's head.
So obviously it sounds like you'd rather have your head inside the lion's mouth.
I think maybe. Because I feel like if the lion was going to bite you and take your head off, that'd be quick. You probably wouldn't know about it. I'd assume. I've never seen it happen. I don't want to see that happen.
Right.
Whereas I feel if you're in a cannon and there's so many things can go wrong. So the cannon could backfire and explode. So you're inside a cannon, it explodes. You get shot 100 feet instead of 50 feet. You're traveling at twice the velocity and there's no net. So I feel from a speed point of view anyway, a lion chomping down on me as opposed to me mushing along on the ground. I don't know, that I feel that would be it. I know in an early episode of the show, with Fuzz Martin, it was episode 1 actually, and we were speaking about like being in an airplane that's going through turbulence and falling to the ground, or drowning in being capsized in a boat and drowning. What would be the preference? Really morbid question to finish the episode off, and especially the first episode.
Right.
But I feel it's the same kind of vibe. It's like that speed thing, right? Where one thing could be really quick, another thing could be a bit slower. Do you go for the quick or do you go the slower?
Yeah, I think both of those would be terrifying. That's a tough question too.
And you travel a lot. I don't know if you still travel as much now, but you used to travel a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'd imagine you must have had some interesting examples of turbulence in your time.
Yeah, I mean turbulence, but nothing like you're going to crash to the ground.
Oh, okay, so gentle turbulence then.
Yes.
So just like a gentle lion. Okay, so we're...
A gentle lion.
There is gentle lions. Look at the Wizard of Oz.
I love it.
So we're definitely settling on preferred shot out of the cannon.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, if that ever pops up, make sure you've got your daughter filming it. I do want to see that. Unless it's not got a good ending, then obviously don't film it.
Well, I mean, it might be filmed and she just won't share it.
Well, there you go. Moving from that not generic, horrific question whatsoever, let's have a look. We're doing well here. We've got to the end of the questions almost. Question number 5. Okay, I feel, well, yeah, we can go for this because I know we can do both versions. So, Ginny, question number 5. Would you rather have unlimited sushi for life or unlimited tacos for life?
Tacos.
And that would be the non-meat version, obviously, right?
Yes. I would love tacos. I love tacos. I love them all.
And is that because, like, well, obviously, I know why you like the non-meat version, but is that because you prefer, like, the tacos over sushi and fish, or what's the reason in there?
Well, I am vegetarian, so there's that. But also, I don't know. I love tacos. You can have hard shell tacos. You can have soft shell tacos. You can have without shell tacos. You can have meat tacos. You can have bean tacos. You can have avocado tacos. There's the options are limited or unlimited. So you can have all sorts of options. You never get sick of it. And I feel like you would get tired of seaweed and sushi and rice and fish eventually.
And I always feel, I mean, sushi, I know, well, I don't know. I've only tried it once, but I've only really tried the rice and the seaweed because I can't get my head around the idea of raw fish, but I don't know if it's raw or not. I don't know if it's cooked or not, or...
Some of it's raw.
Yeah, so, and I'm sure it's fine. I mean, I've not seen anybody die from sushi poisoning, but you never know. And you're a good cook. You love cooking. You're always sharing, whether it's with your family get-togethers, you're always sharing the meals you're preparing, or if you're preparing dinner, just for yourselves. What would be your ultimate taco presentation if you're cooking a taco dinner for just you and your family and then a bunch of people?
If it's just the family, we have a favorite we actually just had the other night, where I do black beans and corn and wrap them up in homemade tortillas. Everybody loves that one. We have a bunch of family in town next week, so I'm doing a taco bar. So I'll have chicken and pork, refried beans, cheese, my homemade tortillas, and then I'll do some hard shell tacos for the kids because they love that. Probably some hamburger meat for the kids. But I do a taco bar, so it just sits up on the counter and everybody can make their own tacos.
Do you make your own sauce at all, or do you buy that?
Yep. Yeah.
What's on the sauce? You allowed to share that, or is that a secret?
It depends. I really like to, if for the chicken, I really like to do chicken thighs instead of breasts because it holds flavor better, differently. And then I usually marinate it in lime juice, garlic, onion, some cilantro, and some spices overnight. And then I just grill it, chop it up.
That sounds delicious. And you say this is just for your family. There's no invites for certain Canadian.
Oh, you can absolutely. Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, there you go. And by the time, unfortunately, this episode will come out after that. But
that's too bad. You can be invited. Nobody else can.
Dang, I was going to put like the address in, just Google Map it and put the address and the show notes links there. And what about your daughter? Is she like, we were talking in the green room earlier about her, different preferences that she got. And is she like a taco person as well? Is she got a favorite meal that you prepare?
Oh, her favorite meal is pasta. And it's funny because I'll say, well, let's go somewhere and have Italian. And she's like, but it's not as good as yours. And I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to cook. She told me the other day that she doesn't want to do hot school lunch next year because she just wants me to make her lunch every day. And I was like, oh, I remember when we were kids and all we wanted was hot school lunch. But okay.
Yeah, I feel kids now, not to say they're spoiled, because I know there's a lot of kids that don't have that luxury of, having meals, being able to cook at home and then, take lunches into school. But I feel now there's so much choices for kids at schools. When we were growing up, I'm much older than you. I know you joke about our age and that, but I'm much older than you. And when I was a kid at school, it was basically whatever the meat thing was that they had, and then a lump of potato, and that was it, basically, right?
That was it. Yeah. And on Fridays, they made the canned pizza. That was it.
Yeah. Whereas now we get menu sent home prior to the school year starting. Do you want to sign them up for pizza? Do you want to sign them up for pitas? Do you want to sign them up for the food truck that comes out? What?
Right. Salad bar, sandwich bar, soup bar. You're like, what is happening? Yeah.
Exactly. And that's elementary. I mean, high school is even more, right? You've got a whole bunch of stuff at high school.
Crazy.
Okay, so I'm going to try and sneak my invite in to the old... I probably won't get over next week. I'm going to pretend I can get over next week and come over for that. But
I'll tell you what, I will make tacos for you anytime you visit.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to steal the recipe from you as well. That sounds delicious. I'd love to try that. But, Ginny, we've reached the end of your 5 questions, and I don't think they were too difficult.
It wasn't too bad.
I think it was okay. But as is the want on this show, to be fair on every guest, because I've got to stop saying we. I do put you on the spot for the 30, 40 minutes, whatever of the episode. So to make it fair, it's time for your random question to ping over this way.
I have 10 here, so I have to narrow it down to 1. Okay, if you could have any superpower for just one day, but you had to use it for the most mundane tasks, what would it be and why?
That's a good one. Superpower, and it's going to be a mundane task.
Has to be a mundane task. It could be laundry.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do laundry, but I'm going to have flashes. The Flash, his superpower of speed.
Yep, love it.
And I'm going to do housework
love
and
it.
cleaning because kids just dump everything everywhere. At the moment, if you're a regular listener, you'll know that I've had some flooding issues in the basement. So the family's living in half a house. So it's hectic at the moment. And as much as we try to encourage the kids to clean up after them, they're kids. They don't clean up after them.
Right.
Or they forget. So yeah, I would have the Flash, his speed, just to go around and do everything in, what would that be, 10 seconds probably, and the whole thing's done. And then probably use that speed afterwards to mow the backyard and do yard work. So you got a 2-for-1 there.
I love it. It's kind of like Mary Poppins, where you just go snap and everything gets done. Love it.
But I wouldn't be dancing because, as I mentioned, I don't dance
or sing.
But I could do my pencil trick where I could play the tune on my pencil.
I'd forgotten you can do that. Oh.
Yeah, that's just a blast from the past. I appeared on Ginny's blog once on a live Q&A or something, and there was a question popped up. I can't remember how it popped up, but it was about, do you have any special tricks or something like that? I don't know. So I made a video of where I get a pencil or a pen, and if you give me a tune, as long as I know that tune, I can play that on my pen or pencil.
Amazing.
And so that's what I'll do. I'll be wandering about super fast, doing the housework, doing yard work, playing a tune on my pencil, and it's all done within a minute or so.
You please record all of that for us.
I should do a pencil version of the theme music for the show. Do that as a special.
You totally should.
Maybe for this episode, we'll see what I can ping up for that.
You should, absolutely.
So, Ginny, it's been an absolute blast. I mean, we've known each other for years. We've met a good few times, and spoken at events, etc. So it's always nice to catch up. And we still have to talk about getting that This Is Us podcast off the ground.
Yes, we should do that.
But for anybody that wants to catch up with what you're doing now, whether it's on the Spin Sucks blog, the PR agency, the various podcasts you're doing, etc., or maybe even reach out to you to see if they're in Chicago for a nice invite to a dinner sometime, where's the best place to catch up with you online and connect?
Spinsucks.com.
And everything's there, your social handles.
Everything's there, yep.
Excellent. And obviously the link to the podcast. But I'll be sure to leave the links to that in the show notes as usual. So whatever app you're listening on, be sure to check the links out. And that'll link straight over to Spin Sucks, where you can check out all the cool stuff Ginny's doing. So Ginny, thanks for appearing on 5 Random Questions.
Always good to hang out with you, my friend.
Thanks for listening to 5 Random Questions. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be sure to follow for 3 on the app you're currently listening on, or online at 5randomquestions.com. And if you feel like leaving a review, well, that would make me happier than all the times I beat Ginny in the Adage Power 150 ranking for marketing blogs, and would happily remind her of that, which was quite a few times. But seriously...
I thought I was going to get away with the whole episode. Dang it.
Come on, I could not let you away with that one.
I can't believe it.
But seriously, if you want to leave a review or recommend a show, you can do that over at 5randomquestions.com/review. Until the next time, keep asking those questions.